There's a cold, unshakable truth that sits beneath the surface of existence, one that most people try desperately to avoid. That truth is suffering is inevitable. No amount of money, success, or love can remove it from the human experience. This idea, although uncomfortable, is the cornerstone of the philosophy of Arthur Schopenhauer, one of the most brutally honest thinkers in Western thought. Schopenhauer didn't sugarcoat life, he confronted it head-on. For him, suffering wasn't some unfortunate byproduct of living, it was living. According to his view, suffering is baked into the fabric of existence, an inseparable part of the human condition, driven by our insatiable will. Our endless desires, cravings, and longings that can never be permanently satisfied. At the heart of Schopenhauer's philosophy is the idea of the will, a blind, irrational force that drives all living beings. This will is not some noble quest for meaning, but an endless hunger. It drives a man to chase wealth, women, power, or pleasure. But once he gets what he wants, satisfaction is temporary. Soon, boredom creeps in, and the chase begins again. That's the tragedy of the will. You're either suffering from unfulfilled desire, or you're suffering from the emptiness that follows fulfillment. It's a brutal cycle. And yet, once we understand this cycle, we unlock a deeper truth about how to approach life. Not through the fantasy of endless happiness, but through the wisdom of endurance, discipline, and detachment. Take a moment and look at modern society. We live in a world obsessed with pleasure. Every day, we scroll through curated highlights of other people's lives, subconsciously comparing ourselves to strangers. Advertisers feed our discontent, convincing us that one more purchase, one more relationship, one more trip will finally make us happy. But it never does. We are more depressed and anxious than ever before because we believe suffering is a sign that something is wrong with us, when in reality, it's proof that we're alive. Schopenhauer would say, this suffering isn't a glitch, it's the program. By realizing this, we can stop chasing illusions and start focusing on what we can control: our character, our mindset, our ability to endure. Let's bring this into the personal. Think about the man who grinds at a 9-to-5 he hates just to make ends meet, or the woman who feels like she's failing because she hasn't hit the arbitrary milestones society told her to reach. They suffer daily, not just from their circumstances, but from the belief that life shouldn't be this way. Schopenhauer offers a chilling but freeing perspective. Life is this way. The sooner we accept it, the sooner we can stop wasting energy on resistance and start building resilience. You don't have to like your suffering, but you can use it. You can turn pain into perspective, chaos into clarity. Suffering becomes less of a curse and more of a tool. Schopenhauer also believed that art, music, and philosophy are brief escapes from the will. When you lose yourself in a piece of music, or a beautiful painting, or even a powerful speech, you're not desiring, you're just being. These moments are rare, but they are sacred. And in modern life, with all its distractions, these moments are more important than ever. Instead of numbing ourselves with temporary pleasures, we can seek higher experiences that transcend desire. Even a daily walk without headphones, simply noticing the rhythm of life, can bring a moment of peace that Schopenhauer would call sublime. But perhaps the most useful part of Schopenhauer's thinking is the stoic attitude he encourages. He wasn't interested in changing the world. He wanted to change how we perceive the world. When you stop expecting life to be easy, every small victory becomes a triumph. When you accept that people are driven by selfish motives, you stop taking betrayal personally. When you embrace that suffering is inevitable, you stop being afraid of it and you become stronger. This mindset shift is what separates the reactive from the resilient. Modern men and women who integrate this philosophy don't crumble when life hits them. They lean into the blow, absorb it, and keep walking forward. Now, some might say Schopenhauer was too dark, too pessimistic, but that criticism usually comes from people addicted to comfort. In truth, Schopenhauer's philosophy is empowering if you can stomach it. It tells you, in no uncertain terms, that no one is coming to save you from your suffering. But it also tells you that you have the capacity to endure anything, and in that endurance, you become untouchable. In fact, many of the world's most disciplined individuals, monks, warriors, stoics, and creatives, have lived by this principle. They don't chase pleasure. They endure pain with purpose. They convert suffering into strength. Let me give you a real-world example. Think of Viktor Frankl, the Holocaust survivor who wrote Man's Search for Meaning. He was thrown into one of the most horrific suffering environments imaginable, a Nazi concentration camp. But he discovered that even in hell, a man can choose his attitude. While Schopenhauer said suffering is inevitable, Frankl showed that meaning is optional, but possible. You can't avoid the pain, but you can decide what it means. And in that decision lies your freedom. In our world today, where most people are overstimulated, under-disciplined, and desperate for comfort, embracing the inevitability of suffering can be revolutionary. Instead of asking, "How can I avoid pain?" start asking, "What is this pain teaching me?" Instead of resenting hardship, see it as a furnace that refines your character. This is the mindset that separates boys from men, tourists from warriors, victims from visionaries. It's the mindset Schopenhauer died with, lonely, obscure, and misunderstood, but ultimately free. So if you're suffering right now, good. You're not broken. You're not cursed. You're simply alive. The real question is, what will you do with your suffering? Will you complain, or will you craft it into your legacy? Because as Schopenhauer taught us, life is pain. But how you suffer, that's where your power lies. If there's one truth you must burn into your soul, it's this: suffering is inevitable. No philosophy worth anything avoids that fact. No strong man was forged without it. No legacy was born in comfort. And few thinkers have explored this brutal reality more deeply than Friedrich Nietzsche, the firebrand philosopher who declared God dead, but meaning alive. While Arthur Schopenhauer saw suffering as a curse to be escaped, Nietzsche took the opposite route. He stared into the abyss and dared it to stare back. He didn't want to escape suffering. He wanted to master it. And through this, he offers us a philosophy not of despair, but of power. But to understand Nietzsche's revolutionary stance, we must first confront the bleak brilliance of the man who came before him, Schopenhauer. Arthur Schopenhauer saw suffering as the central fact of life. To him, existence is a constant tension between what we want and what we have. He called this force the will, a blind, irrational urge that drives us endlessly. You want money, you get it, you're satisfied for a moment, then you want more, or something else. You chase relationships, status, security, and once again, either you're denied and you suffer, or you achieve and feel empty. This cycle is endless, and Schopenhauer's solution was pessimistic but peaceful. Detach, withdraw, reject desire, embrace asceticism, look to art and quiet contemplation for brief moments of relief from this storm. To him, the best we could do was lessen suffering, not overcome it. Friedrich Nietzsche looked at this, respected it, and then shattered it. Nietzsche admired Schopenhauer's courage to face suffering without flinching, but he thought Schopenhauer gave up too early. To Nietzsche, suffering wasn't a flaw in the human condition, it was its forge. Where Schopenhauer said, "Turn away from life," Nietzsche said, "Turn toward life and fight." His philosophy was warlike, grounded not in escape, but in transformation. Pain is not just inevitable, it's necessary. It is the crucible that burns away the weak parts of you, the trial that exposes whether your values are hollow or real. Where Schopenhauer whispered, "Let go," Nietzsche roared, "Endure, and then create." This divergence is nowhere clearer than in Nietzsche's concept of the Übermensch, the overman. The Übermensch is not a perfect human, but a forged one. Someone who has taken the hammer of suffering and used it to sculpt his spirit. He doesn't run from pain. He uses it. Betrayal? Fuel. Loneliness? Fuel. Failure, rejection, humiliation, all fuel. He takes every scar and weaves it into his armor. Compare this with Schopenhauer's ideal, an ascetic monk, detached from the world, aiming for peace by eliminating desire. Nietzsche calls this life denial. He doesn't want peace, he wants power. Not domination over others, but domination over oneself. That is real strength. Let's bring this home to modern life. Right now, people are more medicated, distracted, and numb than ever before. We've built a world designed to eliminate discomfort, and yet we're miserable. Why? Because comfort doesn't make you strong, and it damn sure doesn't make you fulfilled. Nietzsche would say we've created a culture of weakness, a society of people afraid to suffer, afraid to struggle, afraid to feel anything real. Everyone wants the crown, but no one wants the crucifixion. Everyone wants the glow-up, but not the grind, the rejection, the nights alone, the battles no one sees. But those are the things that make a man. You can't become who you're meant to be without them. Nietzsche didn't believe in pointless suffering. He believed in meaningful suffering, the kind that produces something, builds something, shapes something. He hated nihilism, the belief that life is meaningless. That's why he attacked Schopenhauer's pessimism. Nietzsche's response to the darkness wasn't retreat, it was rebellion. He created the idea of Amor Fati, the love of one's fate, not just accepting what happens, but embracing it, saying, "This suffering is mine, I will own it, I will love it, because it will make me more." That's a level of mental discipline most people will never touch, but if you can reach it, you're unstoppable. There's something deeply masculine about Nietzsche's approach, something our culture needs more than ever. We teach men to hide their pain, or to medicate it. Nietzsche says, don't hide it, harness it. Let your suffering fuel your evolution. Let your heartbreak deepen your vision. Let your losses sharpen your edge. Let your loneliness strengthen your resolve. Every tear, every betrayal, every setback, they're not reasons to quit. They're gifts, tools, and if you use them right, they will sculpt you into someone the world cannot ignore. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people today are living like Schopenhauer without his wisdom. They're withdrawing from the world, not to contemplate it, but to avoid it. They're rejecting pain, not out of strength, but fear. Nietzsche saw this coming. He warned about the rise of the last man, a passive, pleasure-seeking creature who avoids discomfort at all costs and celebrates mediocrity. Look around, the last man is here, and he's dead inside. But Nietzsche's philosophy offers a way out, not through comfort, not through escape, but through transcendence, through walking through the fire and becoming more than you were before. So if you're suffering right now, good. It means life hasn't given up on you. It's calling you to rise, but don't waste that suffering. Don't numb it. Don't hide from it. Wrestle with it. Learn from it. Let it harden your will, clarify your purpose, and awaken your soul. Because suffering isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of your becoming. Nietzsche once said, "To live is to suffer. To survive is to find some meaning in the suffering." But I'll take it one step further. To thrive is to use your suffering. That's how warriors are born. That's how kings are crowned. That's how legacies are written. So suffer well, not like a victim, but like a force of nature. Thus remember, we are Indecepta. Becoming Indecepta is the code they never wanted you to learn. A psychological war map for men, forbidden teachings fused with modern strategy for influence, dominance, and self-mastery. If you want peace, prepare for war.